At Lowe's, before the holidays is the perfect time for upgrades and upkeep. During Black Friday, get up to 50% off select major appliances and buy more to save more with up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, grab select DeWalt 20-volt max drill or impact driver kits for just $99. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 12/3. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Family movie night just got easier with Fandango. Reserve seats in advance, skip the lines, and even cancel if plans change. Plus, with Fandango's fan club, save on every trip to the movies. Want to stay in? With Fandango at home, you can stream your family favorites right from the couch. Whether it's a weekend outing or a cozy night in, Fandango makes movie magic simple for the whole family. Download the Fandango and Fandango at Home app today.
Ah, motherhood. 1 minute, you're mom of the year.
I love you, Mommy.
Then the next, not so much. From bath time to bullying, from potty training to puberty, parenting is full of challenges. But one thing is for certain, you are not alone. Welcome to Modern Mom Probs. I'm your host, author, mother, parenting expert, Tara Clark. Join me while we tackle today's modern mom problems. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Modern Mom Probs, where we're trying to solve the world's modern mom problems. And if we can't do that, hey, at least we're having fun talking about them. And today I had a great time talking with the incredible Mary Van Geffen. She has a new book out called Parenting a Spicy One. So today's modern mom problem is parenting spicy children. We're talking about all of the deep feeling, wonderfully strong-willed kids out in the world. And Mary is just such a ray of sunshine. She is funny. She is smart. You're going to love her. So having said that, let's bring her on. Mary, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to see you again.
I'm so excited to see you. Last time we saw each other was at Alt Summit, wasn't it?
Yes, you came in like a celebrity, came up on stage, presented, and then said, I have to go. And I grabbed you and said, well, wait, I just want to say hello.
Yeah, and I was so excited to meet you. I love your videos. I'm a huge fan of your videos. I'm a huge fan of your work. Speaking of your work, you have a new book out, and we're going to be talking about that. But Before we jump into it, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started doing the work that you do.
I am the international parenting coach for the spicy ones. And I got started helping moms with strong-willed, intense kids because I needed the help and I couldn't find it. And I had a long, torturous journey to stop disliking my kid and start like loving myself. And so I started talking about it on Instagram and saying, I love to say things that are like the elephant in the room that no one else is saying. And I think that sometimes women are made to feel like we can't act like this is hard or that we're failing at it. And so I've just always been brutally honest on the internet, and that has worked out for me. And I also like to have fun. Like if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Yeah. So, I have Moms of Spicy Ones, which is an 8-week course that 1,700 people have went through. And then I finally decided to put it all in a book so somebody can, for $19, figure out how do I show up as the mom I want to be when I have a deep feeling and strong, powerful CEO baby.
Yes. I love this. I read through the book. I wish I had this book like 7 years ago. I'm glad that it exists now, but it's one of those things where you read it and you're nodding along. And I'm like, thank God this exists in the work that you do on Instagram and in your course exists now, because when you're faced with the situation of a very spicy child, a strong-willed child, that's one of those things that unless we're talking about it, like you don't know, like that hits you like a truck when your child has really strong tantrums or is very strong-willed in how they act. I was just interviewing someone the other day about toddlerhood and tantrums, and we were talking about it, and she's an expert in toddler tantrums. Say that 5 times fast. I was like, oh my God, I can't say it one more time. And as we were talking about it, I felt that I couldn't like really share with her what our experience was like when my son was a toddler and how strong it was, because I feel like she wouldn't totally understand, because although, you know, her whole platform was talking about, you know, communication with them and you have to obviously like let them regulate before you're able to like speak with them and like crack into it and like crack into their feelings. And at the time, my son was such a ticking time bomb and his tantrums were so explosive that I knew, I was like, this can't be standard. If this is standard, people would never have more children. Like that's just simply what I thought at the time. And my son is an only child. I am an only child with an only child. And sometimes when people ask me, oh, like, how did you end up being, you know, the parents of an only child? There are many factors that went into it. And that's a whole nother podcast episode altogether.
It's also so nosy of them.
So, people ask all kinds of random stuff. But I have said this on several occasions that my son's tantrums were so strong when he was a toddler and it was so all encompassing. I could not even, no pun intended here, have conceived of having another child at that time because he was so spicy and because we were dealing with things that were so strong. So once we got through that toddlerhood period, I was reading every book that I could get my hands on about strong-willed children and different temperaments. And there was a book, and now it totally eludes me, but I don't recall what it was, but I feel like you would probably know who she was. It was about the different temperaments of people and how we fill up our batteries and what depletes our batteries and all these different things. And that was the first time
I bet it was a spirited child.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
That was the first time people were talking about a strong-willed child with reverence and
yes.
And intuition and in kind of a compassionate framework.
Yes, that was exactly it. That was the first, it was the spirited child. That was the first time I ever read it. And I was like, yes, I get it. And this is what I'm dealing with. This is what the situation is.
Buy my book, Parenting a Spicy One.
Yes. That book, I mean, at this point now is like really outdated. I mean, I was reading that probably 10 years ago, right? Like yours is so much newer and more researched and nuanced and all of those things. Buy this one here, Parenting a Spicy Child.
But your point being
but my point being, there people were not having this conversation. So here we are,
the conversation they were having,
struggling.
And the things that were available for you to give you support were like how to spank. And you need to break their spirit. And there was some sick, twisted advice out there about what to do if your child was larger than life. And so it was very lonely. I bet for you, it was for me too.
It was extraordinarily lonely because you couldn't necessarily speak about this with other parents because they would look at you like, oh, well, yeah, every kid has a tantrum. I'm like, no, not like that. Like, not like this. This is like some next level stuff.
That and like sometimes people would be like, have you ever tried saying no? And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? I am a logistical acrobat and that I know when I must say no and when I'm like, you know what, it is best for everyone in the world if I let this one go. Like there's just so much intuition and dancing and it's an art and people don't get it. Unless they get it.
Simply
they have a spicy
don't
one.
get it unless they're in it at that moment. And you're right. It was so lonely. And so only until I started speaking with parents of neurodivergent children did it start to sort of come together for me a little bit. And I had said to my husband at one point, I was like, there's something going on here. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trusting my gut on this one. I talk to a lot of parents. I see a lot of other children. There's something going on. And eventually, long story short, it took years, but we ended up getting a diagnosis for my son. He had DCD, developmental coordination disorder, which no one ever has heard of. People never know what I'm talking about when I say it. They're like, what do you mean? What's DCD? I'm like, it's dyspraxia. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So long story, it's fine. We got a lot of OT and he's thriving now. He's in a different school. He's doing excellent. But until you're working towards those treatments or a diagnosis like that, you don't know what's going on. And not every child also does end up getting a diagnosis or needs certain therapies. So I want to talk about all of it. Mary, I'm going to keep you here all day talking about this kind of stuff. Let's do it. In your book, you mention about, and I'm not going to quote it exactly, but it was something so beautiful. It was like, you're not failing as a mom if your child is behaving like this. You're still a good mom if your child is behaving like this. And that really stuck with me because there's so many times where you feel that there's a certain judgment or pressure when your child is behaving in a certain way. Can you speak to that?
I can. Good mothers can have wildly defiant children. And what's beautiful about this kid is they are going to break open your self-concept and what makes you decide you've done enough or are enough. And they are a gift, even though they are diabolical sometimes. Like, I mean, my 5-year-old would no, she was 4 in preschool and somebody would want to play with, a toy piece of food that she had. And she would lean over and say, I don't like you because your breath stinks. And I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm raising a bad seed. But meanwhile, she's just gifted in she had vocabulary before other children had come online for them. And so it's a lonely place to be. It's going to be so important. And I mean, I don't know if we need to define spicy one because.
Oh yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should backtrack it a little bit.
Yeah, let me backtrack because you brought up neurodivergence. And I would say 50% of people who believe they have a spicy one, and there's a quiz you can take in the book, have a diagnosis or believe they would get a diagnosis. It's not always about that. It often is. I mean, you got to parent differently if you have an ADHD or an autistic child or your special diagnosis. I'm just kidding. Dyspraxia, everyone's heard of it. It's cool.
There's actually a really great guy on Instagram. His account name is The Black Dyspraxic. He's from the UK and he's brilliant. I feel like he's like the only person that's shedding a light on what dyspraxia is.
I'm going to check him out.
Yeah, you should.
That's cool. Kind of my little autistic hyper focus is, and I can say that because I literally am autistic, but is understanding every different way that a brain can show up, because it's the neurotypicals who have designed the world. And meanwhile, all these amazing neurodivergents are coming up with just all the creativity and the inventions. And anyway, so I look forward to that. But backing up, a spicy one can be neurodivergent. They can be super inflexible, persistent, intense, highly sensitive, where they get overwhelmed in a scenario that a typical kid could handle. Or they can be like, if I spent time with your spicy one, maybe I would be like, oh gosh, that was fine. That might be a mild child. Sometimes it's us. And I like to say that a spicy one is a child you don't think you have the capability to parent well.
Oh, that's a good qualification for that. Yeah. That absolutely makes sense.
So something about them is triggering your feeling of not good enough, or bringing up your inner victim, like, why has this happened to me? Or your inner control freak. Sometimes we can come to, like, I used to have this dream that we would both be wearing Laurel Ashley floral dresses together when we went to church. And we'd be so cute and we'd always dress alike. That dream was like, by the time she was 5, was like, no, I don't want to wear Waldorf stuff. And I was like, what? Please, we want to be woodland fairies. She did not.
Oh my God, that's the cutest. Yeah,
that's the first thing you stop. Like, you have to stop caring about what your kid wears if you have a spicy one.
Oh yeah. My son to this day will only wear sweatpants. He will not wear blue jeans. He will not wear chinos. My cousin recently got married. I put him in a suit. He was in that suit begrudgingly. Didn't want me to take any photos of him in it. So I understand. I mean, he doesn't wear buttons. Like, there's a lot of things that he right from jump, from
And
when he was a
people
very
will
small
say,
child.
oh gosh, don't you think you owe it to your kid to learn to be able to wear what they got to wear? And it's like, actually, no, because once you're an adult, you decide what you're going to wear, and you do modify your environment for what works for your body. And so I think it's an amazing thing to respect that with your growing child, and to be a support, to be like, okay, so we have to go to this place. What could you wear? How do you want to handle this? Like, you help them think through how to get their needs met without destroying the wedding.
Yep, right.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information, at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food and Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.
Family movie night just got easier with Fandango. Reserve seats in advance, skip the lines, and even cancel if plans change. Plus, with Fandango's fan club, save on every trip to the movies. Want to stay in? With Fandango at home, you can stream your family favorites right from the couch. Whether it's a weekend outing or a cozy night in, Fandango makes movie magic simple for the whole family. Download the Fandango and Fandango at Home app today.
Holidays feeling hectic? Pillsbury is here to lend a hand. Roll out some magic with cookies, crescents, crusts, and more, fresh from the oven. 'Tis the season for big smiles and easy wins with Pillsbury.
At Lowe's, before the holidays is the perfect time for upgrades and upkeep. During Black Friday, get up to 50% off select major appliances and buy more to save more with up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, grab select DeWalt 20-volt max drill or impact driver kits for just $99. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 12/3. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Exactly. And that was the first time he wore a suit, and he was so cute. And he only wore the jacket for about 15 minutes, like the blazer for about 15 minutes. And that was it. And so he even wore buttons. I commended him. I was like, good for you. You're doing it. You did
But
it.
the thing is, with these kids, if they do wear that starchy or the tag or the socks with the seam, if they go to school and wear that because you forced it, they are fighting with that thing the whole day. And that takes a lot from their body budget, as Mona Delahook calls it. Like they're like warring with this thing. So you're going to get more difficult behaviors, or you're going to get some serious after school restraint collapse where they just lose it. So why do that?
Why fight that fight, right? That's not the battle. That's not the hill to die on. That's what I always think. I mean, I've been parenting now for 13 years, and I know which hills to die on and which hills just to leave and move on from. So I'm so with you on that.
And that's huge, because a lot of young parents don't know that yet. Like, there are 3 things.
That was a lesson that I had to learn. That was definitely, that came with time.
Yeah. There's 3 things you cannot control. Whether or not and how much your kid eats, that's up to them. You can decide when you're going to serve the food and what the food is that's in your home, and they decide whether or not to eat it. And the same thing is bathroom stuff. You can mandate that we try and go to the bathroom before we leave for school, but you cannot mandate that somebody eliminate. And the same with sleep. You can mandate we're in bed by 8:30, but you're not in charge of whether or not they fall asleep. And when we can kind of like take our hands off these things that are not within our control and where we're taking kind of over responsibility, the stress in the family and the inflammation kind of lowers.
Yeah, inflammation is the right word for that. There was a time where we had a lot of inflammation, and I think that was coming from a lot of people trying to control things, whether it was me or my husband and my son, and we were all just butting heads in a certain way. And once we realized, like, why are we fighting here about this? And so that's when you learn to like compromise, pick your battles, and go in on the right way. And so I'm very happy to say that, knock on wood, there is no more inflammation with that. But there was a time where it was pretty spicy.
Well, I believe
your phrase.
And the people like you who go through the journey to understand their spicy one and find and do their own inner work to not be so triggered by some of this stuff, end up finding teenagehood to be like a beautiful season. Whereas you always hear like, oh, watch out if they're like that when they're little. I can't imagine them as a teenager. It's like, well, actually, are going to be so close because we will have figured out our dance. Whereas people with a mild child, teenagehood hits, and every teenager is a spicy one. They are more loyal to their own soul than to your adult agenda. They are individuating. They care about autonomy and being self-directed. And so you're already ready for that if you had a spicy one the whole time.
No, that's so true. You're right about that, because we had to build the scaffolding that we have now. And like I said, we're chugging along in a really nice way that I'm sure if he was, for lack of a better term, more mild-mannered going along, and then all of a sudden he would hit, let's say, with an attitude or sassiness or any of those things, I'm sure I would be like so taken back. You're like, what do you mean? This has never happened before.
Right.
And if anything, like I said, we sort of went the opposite way, where we have really mellowed out from where we had been. And even for my husband and I, it's like, we know when to step in and when to give him space and all of those things. That's the dance that we're trying to perfect.
Yeah. And I bet you're his person now, you know.
I am. I've always been his person. He and I are super, super close. And we definitely, we have
moment
a special
of silence
bond.
for moms of boys, where we pour this love into them. And it's the closest we've ever been to a male, because we get to be everything to them. And it's just so fun to see them grow. And then they get older and then they find a partner, and that becomes their new mommy.
I know that I haven't wrapped my head around yet. I'm not quite ready for that.
You got years. Don't worry about it.
I have some time, so I'm not really, but I know he and I are very close, and I feel very fortunate for that. And I'm fortunate, like I said, in the way that the inflammation, as you called it before, has come down, so that we're able to like have proper conversations, work through stress, be resilient. There were times where, because the inflammation was so high, it was really challenging to work through the situations that we needed to work through, whether it was school or sports or whatever.
And what I hear you doing, which is a chapter in my book, is delighting in your child. That is our hero's journey, because this kid's going to do a lot of things that are not delightful. And so if we can find them, you better stop laughing at my voices, or I'm going to amp them up, and every other sentence.
I hope you do. I love them so much, Mare. I love them.
But if we can just embrace this sacred responsibility and job we have to delight in this kid, to be one of maybe the 2, 3, 4 people in the world, you know, if you still have grandparents living for them, great. But we got to find a way to swim in all the goodness of them. And that's why I'm so excited. If you take the cover off this book, you didn't get it because you got the softback, but if you take the cover off, it's all the words that describe the beauty of this kid. And my like vision is that moms and kids would be running their fingers along it, going like, what does zesty mean? Oh, okay.
Love that.
Lots of flavor, and like just going through each of the words.
I love there's a part. Wait, I was flipping it now, of course, because I don't have
list
it.
is
the
in the book.
love list. That's what I'm trying to find. Let's talk about the love list. I loved some of those words. It was like affectionate. Now I'm not going to be able to find it, of course, when I speak to that. But I was definitely checking that out earlier, and I love that. I think it's so important to help our spicy ones know how much they're loved and how much we appreciate them, because I think in a world where people tend to be a little bit more mild, that our spicy ones can sometimes feel less than because of their temperament and because of their nature.
It's page 124. I found it. But also, if they have a diagnosis, if they have ADHD, there's been research that they are going to hear like thousands of negatives about them and their behavior and their character before they reach an adult. And we have to offset that. We have to pour into them and remind them of their beauty, because they have many beautiful things to offer society, but they're going to really suck at hosting a dinner party and all the steps that go in it. I know this from experience.
Right. I understand. My mom is also neurodivergent. And so being the child of someone who is neurodivergent and then being the mother of one. So I see it both ways, as an adult and as a child. So I definitely get that. And I know, like I said, how hard it is for them to function in a world where you're trying to fit in, you're trying to mask, right? You're trying to be like, this is how I think I'm supposed to behave in this situation. Let me behave in this situation like that. And that's exhausting. It's really exhausting.
You know what exhausts me? When you have an awesome night with friends and then everyone sends those texts afterwards. And I never know what to write in those texts. Like, oh, what a glorious food you served. And it was a night for all to have a great time. And I'm like, okay. It's like I don't speak that language. And I think that might be the neurodivergence, because I think normal girls know what to text everybody.
I just give a thumbs up.
Oh, I can do that?
I guess. No, I don't know. They'll probably get upset about that. I don't know. No, I agree though. But okay, we're going to go back to that love list for the Spice One. You came up with so many beautiful adjectives, so many beautiful descriptive words here. Affectionate, animal loving. My son's a huge animal lover. Artistic, bold, bright,
and to
capable.
step back, the reason you need this is because sometimes you show up and you want to drag your kid's character through the mud. And if anybody says, how are things going? Some parents of a spicy one are like, it's going awful. This kid is so selfish. They are so unbossy. They're like, you're entrenched in the things that you desperately think need to be fixed. And you think the buck stops here. I'm the one that's got to fix them, that you forget how sparkly this kid is.
Yes. Yes. That's what it is. Sometimes you get caught in the cycle of negativity and you're like, oh, this kid is mean. And like you said, he's selfish and this and that. And you're like, but he's also capable and creative and funny and all of those different things that go into that. And so there's so many different thoughts that I'm having right now with this. How can we as parents try to take ourselves out of that cycle of negativity when it comes to the framework, like the mental framework around our kids?
Well, being aware of it is always the first step. Like knowing that, like, wow, do I roll my eyes? Do I have contempt for my kid? When really that's me feeling helpless, and feeling helpless is such a yucky feeling that it's easier to feel angry and irritated. So just kind of noticing there's a Gottman research that's in the book that a positive, healthy relationship has 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative one. And they even show, like in marriages, if that ratio gets off, that's where divorce becomes more likely. And the same applies to your kid. If you, and unfortunately with teens, they see a negative as you telling them what to do. Because if you had a friendship, you wouldn't show up every time and be like, hey, I need you to move the car. Hey, you haven't taken out the trash. Like intimacy and friendship happen because there's laughter, there's play. So you feel like that person likes you. And we sometimes get so wrapped up in, I have got to help this kid be an upstanding citizen, that we forget we need 5 positive interactions. So with step 1, I'm just making up steps, is that you are aware of it. But another step is that you seek to hold your tongue, treasure it up in your heart, the things that are irritating you, write it down. And know that you can work on like one thing at a time with them, because mostly you need to pour into them and to prove that you are safe and trusted. And some of that is words of affirmation, which is what this list is for. Like choosing one a day and saying, you know what? And boys love the word respect. Like, I really respect how self-assured you are. Now, maybe the version of you the day before was like, I'm so sick of him thinking he knows what's best, right? Those are two sides of the same part of a powerful personality. But voicing that you like who they are is big. Another thing for getting out of that negativity is warm greetings. You get to set the tone of how the day's going to go when they're just waking up, or when you're picking them up, how the afternoon's going to go. And I want you to light up like a golden retriever. Wag your tail. It doesn't need a lot of words, because some kids who've been in school all day are like, feel assaulted when you're like, how was your day? Tell me everything. Don't do that. That's anxiety. I'm looking for you to be, like, there's my boy. I'm so glad you're home. There is my girl. It's always better when you're home. Just that, there you are. The getting up, shutting your computer when they walk in the door and going to them. How about a hug? I'm so glad you're home. And some kids are overstimulated by the day at school. So you got to modulate this a little bit, but the warmth, decide to be warm. And I think it really helps to think like, what kind of family culture do I want? Like, what are 3 words to describe how I want it to feel in this home? And everybody's is going to be different, because it kind of comes from your values, right? Yeah. And a lot of times it's what you didn't have as a kid that maybe now you want. So you come up with those 3 words, and maybe it's like, I want laughter, I want kindness, and I want like where people feel supported. Maybe those are your 3 words. Then I always ask, if that's the case, if you want laughter, kindness, and support, what kind of parent do you need to be? Like, how would you finish the sentence? I am working to be a parent who, and guess what? It's a trick question. It's those same 3 words. If you want that kind of environment, then you must be kind, supportive, and funny. Good luck, right? So figuring that out, being more like, we spend so much time planning our launches, and we sit in corporate America and planning the next year, and we don't do it for parenting. We don't sit down and look back at like what worked, what was good, and how do I want it to be? And so just kind of sort of reflecting and writing it down. How do I want this family to be? Who do I need to be to get there? And then also what is a good mom to me? Like, define it, because when you think it's that my kid would be happy or my kid would be successful at school, guess what, girlfriend? You ain't a good mom. So you really have to phrase your definition, your job responsibility as the things you have control over. Who do you want to be, regardless of how your kid behaves?
Yes. I often think that I'm a good mom if my child will want to hang out with me when he's an adult.
Yeah, you're not the first to say that. That is the dream, right? That this isn't an 18-week job, 18-year job, and then they're gone. We want them to come back. And some of that is because we just love them and it's fun to be with them. But the other is we want to continue to have an influence on their life. We want to be a source of wisdom for them because we've learned so much. And unfortunately, they are experiential learners. They don't really learn from us telling them. They learn from their body feeling defeat and failure and going, I don't want to experience that again. I'm going to do it differently.
Yep, exactly. Another core value for us, as you were saying, that made me think it was playfulness. I think the concept of playfulness is such an undervalued value, for lack of a better term. It is so undervalued because there's a certain level of playfulness that I think needs to happen in a family to make people feel wanted, encouraged. It's fun. It's light. Like, I like to keep things light. I always like to say that. And I think that having a certain level of playfulness is a big part of that.
Yeah. And playfulness is the love language of the spicy one, because they're the kind of kid that's like, why would I do it if it's not fun? And, right. Life isn't always going to be fun, but we can harness that desire, that gamification, and also we can short fuse. Is that a word? We can short out the electricity of a meltdown by trying play. If a kid is like so angry that their window won't open, it can be like, that darn window, I'm going to go get dry erase markers. Like we can try to make them laugh. We can also become a befuddled adult. The spicy one loves when we fall down or do that trick where you kick the door, but you act like your head got hit. And just like finding that laughter, because I always say, like, when our family feels like it's in free fall and things are not good, there were always one family dinner away from feeling like, oh, no, we're good. And usually that family dinner is going to have some shared laughter in it. Yeah. Laughter.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information, at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food and Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.
Family movie night just got easier with Fandango. Reserve seats in advance, skip the lines, and even cancel if plans change. Plus, with Fandango's fan club, save on every trip to the movies. Want to stay in? With Fandango at home, you can stream your family favorites right from the couch. Whether it's a weekend outing or a cozy night in, Fandango makes movie magic simple for the whole family. Download the Fandango and Fandango at Home app today.
Holidays feeling hectic? Pillsbury is here to lend a hand. Roll out some magic with cookies, crescents, crusts, and more, fresh from the oven. 'Tis the season for big smiles and easy wins with Pillsbury.
At Lowe's, before the holidays is the perfect time for upgrades and upkeep. During Black Friday, get up to 50% off select major appliances and buy more to save more with up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, grab select DeWalt 20-volt max drill or impact driver kits for just $99. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 12/3. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Is when the oxytocin, is that drugs or is that the hormone?
No, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Oxycontin.
No,
when the oxytocin drops
thing.
is from laughter or breastfeeding, and we can't breastfeed them anymore. So laughter is super important. And some of us weren't allowed to play as kids. And so you might need to figure out, what does that look like for you to, and who are your playful, I'm big into a Patronus. I might be saying that wrong, but that is
from Harry Potter.
Yeah. The idea that of thinking about this symbol or this character that you want to be more like, or you want to embody, because it's parts of you that are underdeveloped or unseen by the world. So like, you might be like, I want to be more like Jim Carrey in my parenting. Or you might choose Glinda the Good Witch, like whatever that thing is that you're like, it's underrepresented, name it, get a picture of it, put it up on your kitchen. And when you're not sure what to do, just pretend to be that person. There is a lot of room to fake it till you make it in parenting.
Yeah, no, there really is. And even in life, we have this thing in our family. It's interesting that you mentioned about golden retrievers before, because my husband and my son sometimes have to hype themselves up before larger family gatherings. Mm. And so what they say is that they're trying to bring the golden retriever energy. And they're trying to be light, and they're trying to be fun, and they're trying to be friendly, because they don't love, as I mentioned, like big get-togethers. And that's when they bring their golden retriever energy. So they're often hyping each other up when it comes to that. Now, for me, I can't help it. I am always a golden retriever all the time. I got my little tail wagging. I am full golden retriever energy all the time. But I try, like, they try to take like little parts of me and then bring it along when we go. So it's interesting that you're saying about like, take those little pieces and try to think of
those
where
little symbols really help. Like Like what
Proof,
one symbol I like to share is, it's in the book, is being a scuba diver with sharing your tank with your child. And if you've ever seen them, to become a certified scuba diver, you have to go sit at the bottom of the pool and you have to calmly pass off your mouthpiece with the oxygen back and forth. And that's what it is to co-regulate with a child, is like, it doesn't feel like there's enough oxygen, and just slowing your breathing and knowing that we're both going to get through this if I can de-escalate, if I can do some micro regulations for myself. But having that symbol, like, okay, Mary, I can pretend to be a scuba diver when my kid starts screaming about whatever it is they're screaming about.
Yeah, I love how visual you are. Like, all of your examples have a visualization, which really helps me. So I'm going to take that, put that in my pocket. Think about the golden retrievers, thinking about the not golden retrievers at the bottom of the pool, but thinking about the scuba divers. No, they like to swim. No, they like to swim. Golden retrievers, they swim. They're paddle.
Yes.
For the scuba divers at the bottom of the pool. I love your visualizations. I think that's super, super helpful. When our spicy ones are having a particularly hard time, what's the best thing for us to do as parents?
It kind of depends on what the hard time came from, because I think a lot of the learning and teaching is either happening before the meltdown or it's happening after. But when they are having a hard time, I think it's checking in with ourselves and even asking the question, who's having a hard time here? Because we are so enmeshed with our kid. Of course we are, like we had to keep them alive in the beginning, right? So kind of having a dispassionate neutrality to be like, it's okay for them to be upset doesn't mean I'm upset. And I can allow them to be upset. So all that happens in what I call a conscious pause. Like, if we can lengthen the time between their beginning to growl and get upset and we have a response to it, the more we can lengthen that time and let our most compassionate brain come online, the more the way we respond is going to be something that we're proud of. And I also believe that you should have a physical movement that soothes you to de-escalate. And that might be like the longest exhale, like going for 8 seconds to exhale and only 4 seconds in. And then you hold it for 4 seconds. And again, an 8-second exhale, bring it in just for 4 and hold it for 4. You are telling your body you're safe, because the exhale is what lets you feel safe. Or maybe for you, you get so overwhelmed by their upset that you need to physically shift your body. Maybe you need to get into the child's pose. Who cares that it looks weird? Get in the child's pose and exhale with a moan, like a hum that reverberates all throughout your chest and helps your vagus nerve to feel like, oh, we're okay now. Like any kind of vibration is really good. But there's not a lot that needs to be said or done. In fact, don't talk so much when your child is losing it. Watch your face, have everything soften. Your eyebrows shouldn't be up so high, because their mammalian body, the only part that can take in information right now, is checking like friend or foe. Are you a predator? Right? So if we can affect in our posture and our face that we are safe, then that might mean getting lower. It might mean taking your hands off your hips. It might mean softening your eyes. And really, so much of it is an inside game. And in a way, it's good. You have lots to do. And the doing is not so much what you're going to say or do to your kid. It's how do you take responsibility for the microclimate within you. And also, there's a whole chapter on what to do in violent meltdowns, because moms, the spicy ones, nobody knows that we're dealing with that things get broken and that it feels like abusive in the moment.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good chapter. That's really, we could talk about that now if you want to, or do you want to save that?
I'm
one
always
for
afraid I'm going to get sued.
Let's not talk about that one now. I'm going to ask you a different question, totally different.
Okay.
Mary, what do you think is the biggest modern mom problem today?
Let me think about that. Well, I guess it would be that there is a backlash against gentle parenting where people have confused it with permissive parenting. And I think that I think it's the idea that if I'm gentle, that I'm letting them get away with anything, and I'm creating like a flabby, narcissist. And that is gentle parenting. And I don't even use the phrase anymore, because now it's kind of, it's just like, it was a spark. Everybody was talking about it. And then it became kind of it got put down and again, looped with permissive parenting. So I call it now respectful parenting.
I like that.
There is just so much research that authoritative parenting, which is what gentle parenting was supposed to be, which is setting an expectation, high expectations, but high warmth. You can have both. Okay, the modern mom problem is that we think that to affect someone's behavior, to discipline them, has to hurt. That we're supposed to be angry when we punish or discipline. I don't believe in punishment, but we think that there has to be some kind of rupture or disconnect from that human to get them to understand they have to change. And that is not the case. We can set, no, you may not hit your brother. I'm going to hold my hand here. Absolutely not. I don't have to be angry. And in fact, when we go to punishment, that's like the nuclear weapon. That should be very few and far between. And punishment doesn't tend to teach. And guess what? There's so much research on strong-willed children that they are more impacted by the parenting choices we make than a typical mild child. They can have much better results and like soar, or they can really be profoundly impaired. And what they need is positive reinforcement and setting very clear expectations. They don't need more punishment. They don't need character assassination and so forth.
Yeah, they need love. I'm so with you on that, 1,000%. I like the phrase conscious parenting, which I don't know if you're familiar with.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Shefali.
I just feel like Shefali owns it, so I feel bad saying it.
I feel like she does. It's true. But I'm a big fan of that, because you have to really tap in with yourself in order to be the best parent that you can be.
Mindful parenting, positive parenting.
You talk a lot about your inner child in your book as well. I mean, you dedicate a huge section of that. And so that's all interrelated as well.
Yeah, it's really hard to give love to a kid if you haven't first loved on the little parts of you. And I know that some people are rolling their eyes right now when they hear that, like inner child. What is that? It's just a new way of thinking about self-tenderness that's really necessary when you're in a struggling situation like having a spicy one. And figuring out what she needs, what she's afraid of, and loving on her. And that might be as simple as like a hand on the heart and a hand on your belly to be like, are you okay? Like speaking to yourself like you're someone you're supposed to be in charge of helping and supporting. Versus like, let's go. Why are you failing again? And we all have these inner mean girls that say the nastiest stuff to ourselves. And there's a whole chapter in the book of how to identify the inner mean girl. I've got 9 types. And then once you know her playbook, it gets really, it gets a lot easier to spot her. And she always comes in like, and sort of messes up the parenting moment. And then you externalize her and you call on your highest self. We all have like that moment where like, darn, I was a good parent then. Where were the cameras? Like that was a beautiful moment. Like we want you to be more of that version of you. And so naming her and understanding her and calling her in when you need her is important.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Mary Van Geffen, I adore you so much. Tell everyone, where can we find this amazing book, Parenting a Spicy One? Tell us all the things.
Well, you got to pre-order it now because it's coming out in February. But if you pre-order, you get me narrating it in my sexiest mom voice for you.
Oh my God, I love that. I love your voice too. I can listen to you all day.
Oh, right back at you. But you also get the Affirmations Masterclass, where I tell you the 50 things that your spicy one needs to hear from you. And I give you some guidance on how to give an affirmation that actually sticks and helps to support the self-concept of your kid. And I have 3 mommy meltdown meditations for after you have been a version of yourself you don't like and you're kind of swimming in shame, and you just listen to these. It helps you calm down and get back into the living room and repair.
I love that. You have so many goodies. I mean, trust me, I speak with a lot of authors and they don't give out all these amazing goodies. This is awesome.
I feel like we're on QVC right now. That's right, Tara. I do.
No, but seriously, like if people get a sticker, they're like, oh, I got a sticker. Like here you are. You're like, no, this is actual meditations for you to use.
And they're only available until the book drops. And then I'm going to charge for them, girl. You know it.
Yeah, you are. That's awesome. Oh, Mary, that's amazing. Where could we find you online? Where can we follow you? Tell us all those things.
maryvangeffen.com and at the website, on my website, maryvangeffen.com is the pre-order button so that you can get all this good stuff when you show your receipt. And also on Instagram.
Yeah, get all the good stuff. Follow her. Yeah. Mary's videos are amazing. So helpful. What I love about your work, I mean, there's a lot because like you're funny and you're fun and you're playful and you're smart and there's so many wonderful things about you. But at the heart of it, you remind us that even if we are parenting a spicy child, we are not alone. We are not failing as parents. We are trying our best in maybe a not typical situation, but there's room for growth and we're not doing it alone. So thank you for the work that you do, Mary.
Thanks for seeing me and getting me.
Of course. Oh, I see you. I see you. We see each other. Thanks for being here, Mare.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Modern Mom Probs. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive in today's problem with me, your host, Tara Clark. Join me next time when I'll be interviewing another great guest and tackling another modern mom problem. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and a rating. As always, you could head over to Modern Mom Probs on Instagram and give me a follow, or check out my book, Modern Mom Probs, A Survival Guide for 21st Century Mothers, available online wherever books are sold. Well, that's it for today. See you next time, folks.
Family movie night just got easier with Fandango. Reserve seats in advance, skip the lines, and even cancel if plans change. Plus, with Fandango's fan club, save on every trip to the movies. Want to stay in? With Fandango at home, you can stream your family favorites right from the couch. Whether it's a weekend outing or a cozy night in, Fandango makes movie magic simple for the whole family. Download the Fandango and Fandango at Home app today.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food and Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.
Holidays feeling hectic? Pillsbury is here to lend a hand. Roll out some magic with cookies, crescents, crusts, and more, fresh from the oven. 'Tis the season for big smiles and easy wins with Pillsbury.
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.